into Are You Cirrus? Episode 36. Had to make sure that we were actually rolling and ready to go here.
Episode 36, and this is the one that we've kind of been figuring out as we go.
Yeah.
And we still are.
I was texting Jamie yesterday, and I said, what are we going to do? He said, I'm not sure. Let me think on it. Yeah. And we're still thinking on it.
Yeah.
So welcome into this episode, which we do not know which direction it's going to go.
I have a feeling this one's going to be fun.
Me too.
Based on what our sort of rough outline. But I got to tell you also, last week's episode, I loved.
I thought last week was easily top 5.
For sure.
Maybe top.
Yeah.
The Bat story was great. If you missed that, you can actually find that on Spotify, Apple, YouTube. That's where we do our premieres. And I know we have a lot of people listen. I will say the largest premiere since Winter Storm listening only.
Yeah.
Not to mention on YouTube.
Yeah.
A lot of new people.
A lot of new people, which kind of dovetails into what we're doing this week.
Yeah. As we figure out a thing. Yeah. We're going to call this the Who Are We episode.
Who are these guys?
Who are these two fools?
These random weather dudes. One of them goes on a rant.
Yeah.
The other one's nice and organized. And yeah, who are we?
That's a great question,
But kind of a fun who are we?
Yeah, and I think this will be very laid back, very casual. I also want to say, because we forgot last week, share this with your friends and your family.
Yeah.
Like we saw what the power of just sharing an episode does. Mm-hmm. This episode from 35, season 3, episode 1, just takes off. Mm-hmm. So share this, comment. In fact, comment where you're watching from right now.
Yeah.
Even in YouTube.
Yeah.
I'd love to say hello to you. I know Jamie would as well. And if you're listening, thank you for listening. Maybe you're on your drive to work right now.
Yeah.
Maybe thanks for just tuning us on every week. We appreciate that.
And if you're a newbie, welcome.
Yeah, welcome. There are 35 episodes.
For
you to dive into.
So you've got a lot of. If you are a newbie, you got a lot of catching up to do.
A lot, and I'm glad you said that because I'm going to try to highlight some kind compliments after last week's.
That's probably a good change of pace.
After last week's not so kind remarks that we talked on, and we're going to dive into that. There was a lot of people asking about that episode. They loved the little rant. I think we'll both be fired up that episode, but we got to ease into that.
That's a whole other episode entirely dedicated to the crazy people that send horrible things.
So I guess this is also on me. You know, I try to go through the comments and all. Well, I haven't done that in a long time. So I just typed in, Are You Cirrus? Mm-hmm. Jamie, Are You Cirrus Andrew? Scrolled through Facebook. And those posts live on forever. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of comments that I don't even get to read.
Yeah, that we kind of, get lost.
Maybe the day after or two go through. Oh, thanks for listening. I found this one just from a couple of weeks ago, which I loved. This is from Brian, and it's viewers like Brian that I think make this podcast very successful. It's not me and you.
No, of course not.
It's people like Brian. He said, just wanted to comment, not miss a single episode on YouTube. First off, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Just have to go and watch later, so I don't know how to for you all. It's basically just the YouTube video. If you don't like it, you can rate it on Spotify. That helps us out as well. He says, keep it up. It's freaking awesome, LOL. By the way, the Hugo episode was great. I wrote it out with on Highway 90 at Meemaws, which I love.
We got it, Meemaw. Thanks to Meemaw.
Mine is Mamaws and Papaws.
Yeah.
Meemaws.
Shout out to Meemaw.
Hopefully I said that right.
Yeah.
She refused to leave. It was a long night. Again, you and Jamie keep it going. So, Brian, thank you.
Thank you, Brian. Yeah.
I appreciate that. That helps out a lot.
Your check's in the mail.
I wonder if it's more than that 72 cents.
Yeah, right. It's a small check because of a small budget, but it's in the mail.
If you missed that, we actually were talking about how you can make money from a podcast on YouTube. And apparently at one point we've made 72 cents. We'll need to get an update on that.
Killing it, yeah.
When we hit 6 figures,
woo,
we'll be set one day. All right, so first off, let's just talk about the week. How's Jamie? How's that cold blast?
Jamie's good. I love the cold weekend. It just felt good.
It did feel good.
It felt good. I love
Teens.
I feel like I can breathe when it's cold.
That makes sense.
Oh, I feel like I can breathe.
It's like a fresh start.
Yeah.
You know that cold therapy, the plunge that people do?
Yeah, no, I'm not that into cold.
I'm just saying, I think that's why it works.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, yeah, here we go.
Just feel it. I loved it. I loved it. It was cold.
Feel like temperature in Myrtle Beach was 8.
8 was
I
the
think
lowest
at the
I
lowest.
saw. Yeah.
And I stepped out there in shorts and T-shirt and just embraced it. I said, let's do this.
Yeah. Yeah. It
Really
feels good.
Anything else happen fun this week?
Not really. Not really. Been kind of quiet. Just kind of cruising along.
Yeah.
You know, getting ready for the warm-up, the warmer weather.
Yeah.
Kind of dreading that.
I
know people love it, but
yeah.
not me.
And also, too, if we're going to have warm weather, at least give us some sunny, warm weather.
Yeah.
This recent bout of clouds and warm and rain.
Yeah. I know. I've nicknamed it a dirty warm-up.
I actually used it now, and I love that.
And
I
people
love
kind of
that.
look at me funny until I sort of explain what a dirty warm-up is. But
Yeah.
it's a dirty warm-up. It's 70, but it's cloudy and showery. And
I love
Yeah.
that. I love that so much. I use dirty warm up, and I got a couple of looks, and I was like, all right, well,
let's explain that.
let's say what that
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
first. But it makes so much sense because you would love for it to be 70 and sunny, but at the end of the day, it's January. So
It's January,
70
so-
degrees in January, you'll take it whether it's dirty or
exactly.
clean.
Dirty or clean.
You'll be good to go.
Yeah.
So I'm the same way, you know, kind of stuck in this. When's our next big weather maker?
Yeah, looking ahead.
I don't know about you, but for me, when we're forecasting, I'll speak first and then let you see if you're on the same.
Okay.
When you're forecasting, obviously, I'm not saying I'm hoping for a big system, but when I'm forecasting and writing down 20%, 20%,
Yeah.
30%, and my numbers look similar, and I'm like, I get bored.
I do too. Really bored.
So bored.
Yeah, I know.
So if I felt like I haven't been myself on TV, it's because I'm trying to like hype up the warmth, or I don't know.
And we've always said this, that the hardest time I feel like for us, and probably for a lot of meteorologists, is when it is very quiet.
Yeah.
Because that's when you have to start really thinking about sort of what you're going to present to your audience to make it not sound boring, to make it not sound repetitive. You know, if there's a big storm coming, those are easy. Those are easy days.
And it's like, how do you change it up day
Yeah.
to day?
How do you change it? Right. There's
Like-
only so much. Yeah.
If you were watching us on the morning, we led with warmer temperatures for quite a bit this week. Then when the rain chances get a little bit higher, it's like, all right, we have a chance of
Yeah,
rain, but it's still,
Yeah.
it's just different. And that's where those planners on the morning show come into play and
Yep.
whatever graphics we have. So I'm ready for whatever the next big thing is.
Me too.
We'll see
And
what
still,
happens.
Still holding out some hope for February excitement.
Yeah, me too. Me too. I
Yeah.
still think
I don't
there's
think we're-
another cold shot.
Yeah, I don't think we're done with winter.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
No, by any stretch.
And maybe, dare I say, looking at some of the latest stuff, maybe winter continues into early March,
Yeah.
like a
Yeah, it kinda feels
solid
like a-
cold spell that way.
Yeah, feels
So,
like maybe kind of a late spring this year.
yeah, we'll see. All right, let's have some fun. First
Yeah.
off, we'll get to shooting the breeze. We're going to try to keep these separate. I think
I've never
we
seen it
got
so full.
about
Never seen it so full.
40 questions. So thank you.
Yeah.
And this is allowed anytime. Y'all have a question, on limits, off limits.
Yeah.
We're throwing it in as long as it doesn't get us fired.
Yep.
It's going in the shooting the breeze box. But our dear friend Rose Howe basically said, hey, you all do so much weather content, and this will still be weather content. But let's do a deep dive into who are we?
Yeah.
So without further ado, I'm meteorologist Andrew Dockery, because we didn't do that.
And yeah, Chief Meteorologist Jamie Arnold here at WMBF News. And welcome. If you're just figuring us out.
to the podcast. Myrtle Beach, South Carolina is where we located.
Yep.
We love it here. The weather still has some seasons.
Yep.
But not too much winter, which is a nice balance. And really, if you want to go back into our story of how we got into the TV business, we've covered that in season 1. So I kind of want to steer away a little bit from that.
Yeah, we're going to go beyond the basics.
Well, yeah, I think this would be
the
fun.
fun stuff.
And any question that comes to mind, ask it.
For sure.
I got a couple in here,
Good.
but I think let's have some fun with our viewers. Let's play 2 truths and 1 lie.
Okay.
I have mine written down, otherwise I would stutter on my lie,
Okay.
and I feel like you would be able to pick it.
Okay.
But I'll read it. We'll let it breathe for a second. We'll let the viewers and
And I'm
listeners
picking
guess.
which one's the lie.
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
And we'll see if they get it. And then you could do it to me too.
Oh, that's a lot of pressure.
All right? 2 truths and 1 lie. And Anya and Sarah in the back can also play, and we'll see if they got it right. You can even text us if you got it right. You ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
I was in a local TV commercial for Kmart. Do you remember Kmart?
I do remember Kmart.
For a Kmart Christmas shopping commercial.
Wow.
I had life-saving reconstructive chest surgery.
Okay.
Growing up, I wanted to be a bull rider.
Whoa. Those are tough.
2 truths, 1 lie. We need some, music.
Wow. the lie. I can definitely see you want to be a bull rider because you're,
Yeah, I did.
you're a little honky tonk.
Yep,
Yeah,
that
you're
was
a little
it.
honky tonk.
Okay, so that is the truth.
The other one, life-saving chest reconstructive surgery.
Yeah.
That's hard to come up with.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say Kmart is the lie.
Bingo.
Really?
Got it.
How did I not know this?
Yeah.
What was wrong?
So-
Way to send us on a terrible turn.
Welcome into Who Are We?
We're going to have fun this episode. By the way, I almost died.
Well,
What?
not almost died, but close. Like, if I wouldn't have had the surgery, it was basically had to happen. So I had a thing called pectus excavatum or something. I don't know how to say it. Excavatum? Maybe. Anyways, my chest was so concaved
Yeah.
that growing up, I could literally like pour milk or cereal. Not saying I would do that, but it was pressing against my lungs. So when I was growing up, my ribs were forced into my lungs that if I didn't have surgery, I think by the age of 4,
So
my
how
mom
old-
and dad can fact
How
check
old were
me
you
on
when you
this.
had the surgery?
I think 3.
You poor little baby.
Yeah. So I still have like scars and like I had to put a metal bar to like pop my chest out.
Wow.
Over the course of, basically to save my life.
Wow.
So I still struggle with breathing.
Okay.
Working out sometimes can be tough. And really, like I wasn't supposed to play contact sports. I still did. Just little things like that. So yeah, there you go.
Way to bring it down.
Do you know the party favors where you blow into them and it's like, "Woo," and
Yeah.
could never get any of those. I couldn't even like blow a whistle with my current.
Really?
Yeah. So the more you know here on,
Okay.
on Are You Serious? Now
I'm
that
gonna-
you got it right, I'm going to get yours wrong.
Well, I'm going to flip the script on you because I don't have the wherewithal right now
Okay.
to come up with all the truths and a lie because you didn't prepare me for that. So instead, because I'm much more of a storyteller than what you're doing, I will share my medical mysteries.
He's calling it audible. Okay.
My medical marvels.
Other than the rabies.
Other than rabies. The vast majority of people, I think it's 99% of people, when they're born, the umbilical cord is cut and it seals up
Okay.
inside the belly button.
Yeah.
And it's just, that's it.
Okay.
Mine didn't. Mine remained an open vessel, a tiny little open vessel. And I had to have surgery when I was 26, 27 to literally close up my belly button.
Shut.
Yeah.
It's the way you deliver this
Yeah.
story for
Yeah.
me.
And there's a lot of grossness that will
I was
led into that.
the
but we're
same
not-
with the reconstructive chest.
But we're not going to do that. But yeah,
Yeah.
Before I had my belly button closed up, there was some bad stuff that was going on down there, and I'm basically a medical marvel. I had 5 wisdom teeth. I had an extra one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
I was not put under for my wisdom teeth in order to save money.
What kind of hillbilly backwoods Kentucky dentist did you go to? When they a sniff of some bourbon and that was it.
That was it. The good old days. I still was numbed, but I was awake during it, and I could hear the cracks and all that. Yeah.
I was put to
We
sleep.
have- this is who we are.
Talk about off the rails. I was put out for my wisdom teeth, including my extra 5th one, but woke up during the middle of it. Couldn't feel pain, but I distinctly remember my head
Yeah, being tilted.
jerking back and forth and feeling just like incredible pressure. And I opened my eyes, and I remember the dentist saying, "Give him another," and out I went again. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
We are medical marvels.
Here's the thing. If we weren't doing a podcast, this is how we communicate. This
Right.
is it. So
Yeah.
you're basically getting, if we were sitting down with some cocktails, it's like, oh, fun
Yeah.
fact.
Yeah.
Here's a little bit about me.
Yeah.
I don't know how to transition.
I don't either. All right, do you have more truths and lies?
No, I just have
Oh,
random
just that one.
questions about us. What's your biggest weakness?
Food.
Same.
And I have 0 patience. If there was something that I really try to work on about myself, it is my lack of patience. I have none.
I don't either.
I mean, none.
Yeah.
I've I feel like, and maybe this is because I'm getting older and you get a little wiser, I feel like I have lived my life rushing because of my lack of patience, and I'm trying not to do that as much.
That could open up a can of worms.
It could, yeah.
Because I was thinking...
That's another therapy session.
Well,
Yeah.
welcome to therapy. I was thinking with Brooks recently, like, I never thought once about time at all. But now that I have a kid that's already a year old, I'm like...
What? Yeah. Where'd it go?
The days are, long. Yeah, the days are long, but the years are short.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be sitting here one day being like, well, where did life go?
Yeah, I know.
It's kind of scary.
Yeah, I know. I feel like I've lived my life always trying to get to the next thing.
Yeah, and I think that's the business we're in too, the nature of it.
Like, what's next? What's next? What's next? And here and outside of work.
Yeah.
I need to enjoy the moments more.
What are some ways we could do that? Because I'm seriously...
Yeah.
I mean, I try. It is so hard with this business. I try to just sit at dinner and put the phone down. But you know how it is. It's like, oh, let me check the latest run.
Yep.
I don't know if it's our job that's made us feel that way or if that's just how everyone is these days.
I think it's something that's always been in me.
It's interesting. We're very similar in that aspect. I think one thing I'm still working on, I've gotten a lot better about it, is I used to always want to please others. Like, I always wanted to make sure, oh, hopefully I didn't say anything that was too wrong.
Yeah.
Now I care less.
Yeah.
Especially if it's something I mean. I just really try to think about what I'm saying to where if someone takes it the wrong way, it's like, no, I stand by what I mean.
Yeah. Yeah. And that gets worse the older you get.
Yeah. And back in the day, I would be like, oh, did I offend them?
Yeah.
But now I don't feel that way as much.
Yeah.
So
they probably deserve to be offended. If it hurt them that bad, I hit a nerve.
Yeah, and typically when it's something like that, it's a nerve that needed to be hit.
Yeah.
So maybe I think that's my biggest weakness that I'm still working on. Time management, I feel good about that.
Yeah.
I'm early to everything. But yeah.
I'm early to everything because I'm in a hurry all the time because of my no patience.
Yeah.
Like, even on the weekends, like this past weekend, went to dinner with some friends, and I was like in a hurry to get to the restaurant because I was excited to go see friends and have dinner and have a couple cocktails. And then as soon as my last bite was done, I'm like, all right, I'm done. I'm ready to go home.
I'm the same way.
Just like, yeah.
Always checking the time too.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
yeah.
What's next?
Yeah. What's next? What are we doing next?
Yeah. I love my wife because she's complete opposite, but sometimes that even causes some issues.
Yeah.
Where it's like, hey, let's take it easy. And I'm like, let's go.
Yeah, we're wasting time. Yeah, we could be doing something.
We're the same person. Introvert or extrovert?
Yes. A very introverted extrovert.
Okay. Explain.
And this, a lot of my friends know this about me. If I'm somewhere as chief meteorologist Jamie Arnold,
okay,
I will be the life of the party. I am not afraid of public speaking. I will talk to anyone and work a room. If I'm somewhere as just Jamie and nobody knows who I am, I'm naturally a very shy person. Very shy. And and would rather just sort of sit at the back and observe than to be in it. Just depends on the situation.
I feel like that's sort of like me. If a lot of people say, "Oh, you're so extroverted," and I would say to a degree, yes. I'm extroverted if I'm with people I know.
Right.
If it's random strangers and you're putting me in a room to mingle,
that's a big weakness for me. I have big problems with that.
In fact, we were out with some friends one night, getting dinner, and I still remember this. And one of the guys asked me, we're just sitting there, and I'm just, I don't want to say that I'm different than on air, and same with you.
Yeah.
But I was just sitting there, and just Andrew.
Yeah.
And then a viewer comes up and it's like, flip a switch.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, how are you?
Yeah.
Where I was just very laid back and out of it.
Right.
So, and I remember my friend being like, well, what was that?
Yeah.
Sorry, I was just making sure I was
And that's-
well presented. And
Right. And that's the thing with this job. You're when you're out in public, you're on.
Yeah.
You have to be on.
Yeah.
And it's like you said, it's not that it's a different version of us. It's just sort of the on version of us.
Yeah. You're not gonna come up to me, and I'm not gonna approach you and be like, "Oh, what's up?" Very laid back.
Right.
How you do? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
There's just a very different manner on it.
That said, if you ever see us out in public, please come up.
Please do.
Because
I love it.
As people always say, "Oh, I don't want to bother you. I don't want to disturb you." I'm like, as long as you're coming up,
Yeah.
that means I'm getting paid.
Yeah.
You're watching, and I'm getting paid. So you come up, and we will chat.
That's the paycheck.
We will chat as long as you want.
We could take a photo.
Yeah,
I have
whatever
no
you
problem.
want.
As
Yeah.
long as I'm not in like sweats or something like I'm
Right.
running out. I usually say you could tell by my footwear. Footwear.
Yeah, oh yeah.
If I'm wearing slippers or Crocs,
Oh yeah.
probably not a good day.
Yeah.
Probably just a
But
hey.
it's usually like that Sunday afternoon run to Kroger for me.
Yeah.
When I'm in sweatpants and flip flops
That
and a t-shirt
someone
with holes in
comes
it, and I haven't washed my hair. There's oh my God, James, like 10 people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've had that happen. I've
Yeah.
had like a cowlick in the back,
Yeah.
and I'm like at Sam's, and I have
Yeah.
glasses on. And I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
and it's 5 to 6 people, which I appreciate, but
Yep.
it's like, man, you couldn't have got it when the hair day
Yeah,
was
right.
good. Rose brought this one up, and I love favorite musical artist. For me, this is a tricky question because my music listening is very seasonal.
Mm-hmm.
Certain artists, certain times, but we can list a few. I love country music.
Surprise, surprise.
Right. Yeehaw. But I don't love all the modern stuff.
Yeah.
I like the singer-songwriter.
Yeah.
Trying to think what else. Just singer-songwriter, acoustic. Emily says I am a very emo type of music listener, which means slow, emotional music, rips your heartstrings out.
I love some good emo songs.
I
yeah.
love that stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
If it makes me think, I'm a fan.
Well, artist.
Recently, I've been listening to, of course, Eric Church. I've seen him a million times. But recently, I've been listening to a lot of Chris Stapleton, Noah Kahan, a lot of coffee house acoustic vibe. Wintertime gives me that feel. Matt Kearney, random. But then also, like, I love the classics, like classic rock, Bruce Springsteen,
Yeah.
Fleetwood Mac, Tom Petty. I'm just a big rock and country, but also singer-songwriter.
I have incredibly varied taste in music.
Okay. Like what?
Favorite all time,
And I'm probably going to be here like, oh my God, I love them.
Whitney Houston.
Oh, fantastic.
Blessed to have seen her 3 times in concert.
Really?
Yeah, before she died. Yeah.
Wow.
Huge and Are You Serious confession? I may have cried the first time I saw her.
Okay. I've cried.
As a little teenage boy, and I don't care.
Okay.
I don't care.
I've cried when I saw James Taylor walk out on stage
Yeah.
for the first time.
Yeah. So got to see Whitney Houston 3 times in concert, and still to this day, I love to listen to some Whitney.
Okay.
It's a close tie, and totally on the opposite end of the spectrum, Fleetwood Mac. Oh, I am just a insane Fleetwood Mac fan.
Rumors is the best album that was ever created.
Of
And
all
we can
time
stop
ever
right there.
done.
Yep.
Yeah.
100%.
Rumors, yeah.
If you don't agree with that, thanks for
Yeah.
listening.
Yeah.
By far, top to bottom, the greatest album ever
Yeah.
produced.
Yeah.
So
Without a doubt.
okay.
Yep. Yeah.
Nice. Number 2 greatest album ever produced is Continuum by John Mayer. If you haven't listened to it, I recommend it.
There's some debating room there, but we'll let it slide.
That's my 1 and
Yeah.
2 right there for you. That Rumors album is
Yeah.
fantastic. Talk about some good emo songs.
Right.
Just once you belt it out. Favorite comfort
Wait,
food?
let's go back.
Uh-oh.
Favorite Fleetwood Mac song?
Oh.
Dead air here. Come on.
Let's just say I love The Chain.
The Chain. Yeah.
Yeah, if I'm picking like a mainstream Fleetwood Mac, I'm saying The Chain.
Okay. Somewhat less mainstream for me, but you want to talk about a song that pulls at your heartstrings?
Uh-oh.
Silver Springs.
Oh, Silver Springs. Great.
Man, that one. And Don't Stop, but a version of Don't Stop. The regular album version is great. If you've never seen it,
They used to
think
play
it
the
was,
version you're about to say on Sirius all the time.
with the USC marching band. Blows my mind. Like that performance. It was when Fleetwood Mac reunited. I think it was 2002, 1 or 2.
I think it was 2.
Early 2000s.
Yeah.
Anyway, they did sort of a final farewell tour, and they performed and did put on a concert. I remember it on VH1. And their finale sort of that concert was Fleetwood Mac with the USC marching band doing Don't Stop. It'll blow your mind. If you haven't, YouTube it, watch it. Watch it.
Do you have a favorite member of Fleetwood Mac?
Interestingly
Or
enough,
favorite era other than Rumors?
Christine McVie.
Okay, so
There's something about her voice that I love hearing her voice.
I think her voice, for me, hits better than Stevie Nicks. And I know I'm going to give some flack for that.
Well, because it's Stevie Nicks.
Correct.
Yeah. It's not so much the voice
also-
as it is just the whole thing. But Christine's voice, there's something angelic to her voice.
Oh,
and she's
100%.
dead.
Yeah. The Buckingham and McVie era that they shortly did, where
Yeah.
the two of them went on tour,
Yeah.
fantastic as well.
Yeah.
Welcome to Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah.
Are you
yeah.
Fleetwood Mac?
Man, I could go on Fleetwood Mac for a whole nother episode.
So good.
Yeah.
Man, now I just want to go listen to Rumors. Favorite comfort food?
Sweets.
See, I'm salty.
Yeah. I could care less about salt.
Okay.
You will rarely see me with like a bag of potato chips or anything like that. But you
Oh.
will always see me with something sweet nearby.
Okay.
Yeah.
Southern home cooking for me. Anything Southern cooking.
Yeah.
It could be
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah.
Dream vacation or trips?
We've talked about my vacations. As long as I'm away from people, I'm happy.
Okay.
You're not going to catch me like, oh, let's go to this big giant resort in the Bahamas with 10,000 other people. No.
Very isolated.
No, I want to be alone.
Yeah.
I want to be quiet. I don't want to see people.
Yeah.
It can be somewhere cold. It can be somewhere hot. It can be the tropics. I don't care.
Yeah.
As long as I have to get with nature. If I'm not
I like
sort
that.
of with nature, I go crazy.
I don't know about dream vacation. Obviously, I still want to go to like some of the big concert venues, like the Gorge up in Washington. I don't know if you've seen photos of that place.
Yeah.
It looks beautiful. Red Rocks I've been to, but I haven't
Yeah.
been for a concert. I'd love to go see for like a big act. But as far as like,
That gives me anxiety.
I love
Seriously, it gives me
concerts,
anxiety.
but I have to have my seat. I can't do the festivals anymore where
No.
you're like,
No.
no, give me my seat. And then I'm still toying with the idea of overseas. Have you ever been overseas?
I haven't.
Me either.
And I'm debating it.
It's
I'm not
so
I'm
expensive.
not a good flyer,
Me
which is my holdback.
And there's a lot to see here that I would rather see.
Right. Right.
Like I want to go to Italy really bad,
Yeah.
but I'm like, or I could go out to the Midwest or up to Montana or
Yeah.
just.
Yeah. My current vacation obsession is I'm going to Texas in April for the eclipse.
Mm-hmm.
And sort of home base for those couple days around the eclipse is Austin.
Great city.
Great city. Looking forward to a little bit of time in Austin, kind of doing the, you're there, you got to do Austin.
Yeah.
But for the eclipse itself, my plan, the total part of the eclipse is kind of west of Austin out in the Texas Hill Country. I want to be out in the middle of nowhere for the eclipse itself.
Okay.
I don't want to hear people. I don't want to be distracted by people because if you've never done it, an eclipse, total eclipse is such a I don't know, just gets into you.
Yeah.
I don't want to be around a bunch of people for it.
Yeah.
I want it to be me in the Texas Hill Country, a rattlesnake in the distance, and the eclipse. That's
You probably just jinxed it and you're going to see
right.
a rattlesnake.
Let me savor it
Okay.
without distractions.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because there are a lot of, like, the eclipse itself, there are a lot of distractions. Everyone wants
Yeah.
to set up and get that right view near a city. So if you
Yeah.
can go into a rural spot.
Yep. So that's my current project. I'm researching remote spots
Yeah.
west of Austin to enjoy it.
Last, what was high school Jamie like?
I'd rather not revisit him. I didn't blossom until college.
Okay.
And like I'm a 14-year-old girl. I didn't mean it like that, but like I didn't sort of come out of my shell.
Yeah.
Very shy, Jamie. I was not a popular kid. I was not a super smart kid. I did okay.
What do we define as super smart? Like
I was a solid BC student in high school.
Okay.
Yeah. I didn't start putting in the work till college.
Okay.
College was 4.0 start to finish. But high school, no.
I feel like I flipped. I was super smart in high school.
Mm-hmm.
And then college, it was like, gen ads, just fly by.
Yeah. Yeah.
Degree, okay, try. I was very nerdy, but also like
Same.
still very popular.
Yeah, not me. Not me.
So I was like a mix. I had
no.
like friends in like one crowd and then friends in the other crowd, and those two friends could never mix.
No, I was bullied. I was picked on. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, high school was not good. Probably the most exciting thing I did in high school was I was on the school newspaper,
Okay. For what?
yearbook staff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, in the newspaper.
Okay.
And that was about it.
I was on one of those. What's the thing you vote in the yearbook?
Superlatives.
Yeah, I was one of them, but I can't remember what it was. I'd have to go back and revisit that. Most school spirit, maybe?
Of course. I skipped one day of high school, skipped class.
Oh.
One day in my entire school career, I skipped class. Do you want to know why I skipped class?
No, I don't have a guess.
Because it was snowing.
Oh, well.
It started snowing halfway through the school day, and the thought of sitting in a math class where all the teachers shut the blinds so that students could look out the window was too much for me to bear. So I skipped math class to walk around and watch it snow. And about 30 minutes into class time, I walked around a corner in the hallway and ran right into the principal and had to spend 3 days in school suspension for my one offense just to watch it snow.
That's worth it. And it's
totally
a fitting
worth it.
story now.
Yeah, it was totally worth it, yeah.
Our last day of school, this shows you where I come from. First off, we were one stoplight town. Now I think we have 3.
Mm-hmm.
We're growing very exponentially. Drive your tractor to school day.
Good Lord.
The very last day of school.
It's some Beverly Hillbilly stuff right here.
If people didn't have tractors, they would drive lawnmowers. People would wake up 4 or 5 hours before school and drive their lawn in the middle of the sticks.
You were more hick than I ever imagined.
No, seriously.
Wow.
I had to work on vocal lessons in college just to be able to talk without a yawl or a drawl.
Get your money back.
I still have it occasionally, but it's nowhere near as bad as what it was. So yeah, drive your tractor to school day. That's good old Spencer County, Taylorsville, Kentucky. Let's avoid any more embarrassing stories. I don't even know how long we've been talking.
So yeah, that's who we are.
All right. Shooting the breeze, shall we?
Let's do it.
Let's not answer all these questions so we have more for future episodes. So
because we may have bored them all to tears and nobody watches from here on out with our high school and medical mystery stories.
If you enjoyed this, let us know. You 3 people still listening and watching.
Oh, that's a lot. I don't have it in me for that one right now. These are I'm not gonna lie, I'm dragging a little bit.
To be fair, they're good questions. He's just not in the mindset of.
They're really good questions, but they're just going to take a lot. And I feel like I've expended so much of my energy with this. Can you explain the Gulf Stream, Mark? Oh my God, there's so many. These are so complicated.
I told you.
That's a good episode, though.
No, I know. I love that.
Pollen and allergies. We're going to get to you. Our people are getting way too smart. This is the kind of question I can handle today. Will we be able to get an Are You Cirrus or WBF News mug this year? Yes. I'm going to say yes.
Oh.
I'm going to say yes. I still think, yeah, you know what? We're just going to make that happen.
Okay.
We're a TV station.
I love it.
There's enough money coming in here.
I love it.
That we can afford a couple of mugs.
I love it.
Maybe we
Cheers.
Maybe we sell them and then like give money to
take an order,
and then we give the money. Like I'm not gonna take.
No, we're not gonna profit off of it, but we could give it to somewhere.
Give it to somewhere.
I like that.
Yeah, like I don't know, something sciencey.
Yeah, well,
something like that. Wouldn't that be fun?
Boss says yes. That boss. We got to get to the other boss now. By the way, these questions, I'm not kidding, are really elevated.
I mean, they're real.
It would take 5 to 10 minutes on some of them.
Yeah.
I was shocked at how many questions we had.
Oh, this is fun. This is John Rankin. Love John.
Oh, yeah. John's great.
Guy.
John's on Twitter or X.
Yeah, Twitter. I'll leave these out because that's the too complicated for today stack. From John Rankin, how do you handle coverage leading up to an event in terms of communication? the risk versus the bust potential in a storm and how people react when the forecast doesn't go their way. So that kind of ties in a little bit to last week's episode and what will eventually be, I think, a future episode.
I think it's going to have to be. There was a lot of talk about that. John asked, basically, when it comes to the risk of, hey, the probability of this happening, and I tried to reword that altogether to get that. Man, that's, and I really think, without giving away the episode in the future, I think that's the big problem in our business, is too many people want to focus on the reward if they're right and the chance to be right 7 days out, rather than effectively communicating everything.
Right.
So obviously the difference in our communication for a 5-day out event compared to, hey, this is happening today, is going to be a lot different. We use, of course, all the data, and we can get into that later. But I think for us, you're never going to hear us say this may happen or whatever, but I think you're going to say, hey, there's some data suggests that we need to watch this. It's about all we could tell you right now. And I think being very transparent and honest with that goes a long way. And as that confidence among me and you and Robert and Matt grows, I think you'll start to hear different wordage. Hey, it's looking a little bit more likely that across the Carolinas we're going to have some sort of severe weather potential. And we'll even throw potential on there because we know there's still going to be those people that if they don't see anything, hey, where was it? And then if confidence continues to increase, hey, there's going to be some strong to severe storms in the PD or Grand Strand tomorrow. So it's really, for me, fine-tuning our confidence as we get closer and really starting to zone down into those microclimates. That's how I view it.
Yeah.
Because a pattern can be, for Virginia, or the pattern could be, okay, South Carolina, here's our chance. Is it the Grand Strand at PD?
And it's on a busy day.
Yeah.
We may have 4 minutes.
Yeah.
To deliver a message.
Yeah. Busy non-tropical day.
Yeah. So let's say we're looking ahead to tomorrow with severe thunderstorms.
Yeah.
Our sort of main weather that, in the evening for me, 6:15. On a really busy day, I'm going to get 4 minutes. There's a lot of editing that goes into that of what I'm going to show and what I'm going to say, because obviously you're trying to get the most important points out.
Yes.
The most important facts. That's a help and a hindrance to a way, because, anything longer than that and people are going to get really bored. Yeah. You can't get too scientific with it, especially on air. Yeah. Because people zone out. Yeah. They zone out. So it's always that fine balance. And then there comes a point sometimes where, you just, you keep up with it and you follow our tone.
Yeah. If you're watching every day. Yes.
Yeah. And the tone. Yeah. Like there's some days where a lot of times it's sort of as the event is unfolding, hey, this is the real deal. Yeah. This is going to get really serious.
And I'll say also, and I think there's some things that I'll own up to, like even like morning of, because we're always in a tricky situation in the morning show, that even if the potential is high, you may even hear that tone from me. But that doesn't mean that the forecast can't change. Yeah. For instance, I remember a day, the dreaded moderate risk. We have an inside joke here that anytime a level 4 risk is issued for the Grand Strand, it's like the kiss of death.
Yeah. Yeah, nothing will happen.
Obviously, the tone of a level 4 risk to a viewer still needs to be communicated effectively. So the tone, I remember that day, was very, hey, we need to take this serious. You need to know what to do in a tornado warning. Yeah. You need to know and have a plan. Here's the timeline we're looking for that. And I remember all that storm energy to our south stole everything. And I think if you were to go back and view the day, our tone probably went from a little bit more serious to a little bit more, okay, hey, we're looking better, to, hey, we're done. Yeah. And I think the tone is going to be the big key indicator, especially if you watch us every day or every week, to really kind of guide that. I think tone is everything.
Right. And that also goes back to the importance when there is big weather,
Yeah.
to keep up with the forecast.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
To keep up. If we say, oh, like, let's watch Thursday. Thursday's a big day. Thursday's the first alert weather day, whatever. You got to keep up with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because,
you can't just turn the TV off for 3 days
and say,
turn it
oh, well,
on
you
Thursday.
said it was going to be a tornado Thursday.
Yeah.
It's not how this works.
Yeah.
So, and I think we all in this business work very hard on making sure that we're getting information out on every single platform possible for those changes to keep that transparency up.
Yeah.
But people still would rather be looking at recipes on Instagram.
Yeah.
Than, let me see what's changed in the forecast.
Yeah, 100%.
Kind of thing. So
I think too, like, if you know how these models work, which maybe that's something we look into in severe weather forecasting, like typically, like, there's a sign 5 days out.
yeah.
By 3 days out, we're just now getting a true sample, whether that means the system's just now working over land to where we could say, okay, hey, here's our first look.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
until then, we're just kind of looking at patterns
Yeah.
above where we would even talk about future radar.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think maybe we'll talk more about that in the tone, but
And
communicating effectively is it's honestly, for people that want to get into the business, I continue to think that needs to be a main course talk.
It does. It absolutely does.
Even if it's the NWA AMS chapters of, hey,
Yeah.
here's effective communication on TV through the National Weather Service, every sector.
And we're seeing more effective communication.
Yeah.
Especially on the television side. I think the meteorology community as a whole within ourselves can tend to be a little too inside baseball.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's probably like this with any sort of scientific field. We're so used to certain terms that we think everybody else is.
Yeah.
The best example is the Storm Prediction Center severe thunderstorm outlooks.
Yeah.
A few years ago, we switched over to level 1 to level 5. We sort of have a corresponding color table. Level 1 is green through orange through red, and then level 5 is like a purple. A lot of studies were done sort of in the weather communication business that is a much more effective way to get that across. The Storm Prediction Center way, the internal way, the way that we talk to each other off air, is it goes marginal,
Yeah.
level 1, slight, enhanced,
Yeah.
moderate, high. That is the words used by the Storm Prediction Center.
Yeah.
What is the difference between enhanced and moderate? Easily interchangeable. Or slight versus marginal.
There isn't one
Right.
for the typical viewer.
Yeah.
For us, once again, inside baseball, we know that there are so many systems that teeter on the moderate or slight, or maybe it's a little bit elevated slight. There's no way you're going to get that wording. And I will admit there's sometimes where I even say, hey, we're under a slight, and I realize I said it. I'm like, basically a level 2 risk.
Yeah.
And I think as long as we're transparent about that, like, hey,
Yeah.
here's what we know,
Yeah.
I think we'll be fine.
Yeah.
But, and this brings back my favorite episode, one of my favorite, another top 5, the cone.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen that one, was that
Yeah.
episode?
That was season 1, wasn't it?
Season 1?
Yeah.
Go look for the cone. Are you serious?
The cone, yeah.
And I highly recommend
And
that.
that is still one of the, and I'm sure we will be discussing the cone for the rest of our lives. The hurricane cone and how to communicate it.
Because
We're still figuring it out.
Yeah. It's tough. Mark, not as hard of a question.
Okay. Thanks, Mark.
And this is maybe a future of Are You Serious? Because I have a thing to branch off this. Have you ever considered having a live studio audience during a podcast?
Well, I mean, we kind of did
Yeah.
for the live ones.
Yeah.
The season finales. But yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to it. I also love the idea of still doing our season finales as our live shows, as a celebration.
Me too.
It may be one of those live finales we do in studio.
Do in here. Yeah. I think we could have fun. We got the room for some people.
Yeah, we got
Yeah,
plenty.
we'd have to work on some logistics and
Figure
sweet
out.
talk the bosses.
Yeah,
But it
that'd
could be
tough.
fun, yeah.
That would be fun.
Yeah.
And I did get a question also, and I did not throw this in here. How long is season 3 going to be? We have no idea.
We don't know.
We didn't even know what we were doing today. So,
Speaking, are we wrapping it up now? Are we almost wrapping
do
it up?
you want to try to get one more?
We'll
No?
see. I'm going to bring it full circle.
Okay, love it.
Between severe thunderstorm risks and live audiences.
Okay.
In the early days of WNBF, we had a group of weather watchers all across the area. And we were hosting all of our weather watchers here in the studio for a barbecue on a Saturday. We had been planning this for a couple of months. That Saturday comes around. We were under a level 5 severe weather risk. It was 2011, and it was a massive tornado outbreak for the Carolinas, especially in North Carolina. But here, I think we ended up with 8 or 9 tornadoes that touched down that Saturday. That outbreak started when we had an entire studio full of people. And I will never forget, we were doing wall-to-wall tornado coverage with a studio full of people, probably 30 people.
Yeah.
They loved it.
Yeah.
And it was definitely an interesting sort of mix. There we are on the wall, and you know how crazy things get.
Yeah.
And everybody just sat there, it was quiet, and watched. They got a lot more than they bargained for.
Oh, yeah. That's the best.
Yeah. April 2011, man. Crazy.
I feel like when we have severe weather, and I am so guilty of this, I could go the entire day and not tell you who I talked to or what I did. Mm-hmm. I just have tunnel vision. Like there's one goal.
Yeah.
And it's like people come to me, I'm like, wait, I talked to you that day? Like,
yeah.
I could not imagine having a group of people in here.
Yeah.
And being focused on a level 5
crazy.
severe weather risk. So
wild.
kudos to you for that. I mean, they definitely got a bargain for
did.
that. Anything you want to pick out of there?
Yeah.
Maybe end on one more? This is the only time we have hand selected shooting the breeze.
Margaret,
questions.
we're going to get back to you on that, unless you want to tackle that.
No, not right now. Because the only time I could think of it corresponding, I'm not sure if it's the only accurate time.
This one's all yours.
Oh, Lord. Oh. I like this.
Yeah.
Maybe we'd do
That would be fun.
lawn and garden
gardening episode, yeah.
That would be really fun because I have questions for you.
Yeah, and I have them for you.
Well, Andy, great name. With the warm temperatures coming, does this change the time frame for putting down broadleaf and crabgrass control? We're really about to bore some people. I have a centipede line and usually shoot for mid-February to apply these products. Your thoughts, Andy? Andy, that is, first off, a great estimate on mid-February. They typically tell you to put your weed preventers down mid-February in the southeast, mid to late February. However, that's an average. It's like the good old Farmer's Almanac, right?
Yep.
Here's what I would tell you. If you put it down too early, kind of like with gardening, you're going to waste all that money on it. Go ahead with warm temperatures now and some rain and just buy some basic weed killer that's still good for the grass. And what I'm doing, I've already bought it. Go ahead and start killing anything that pops up. Because more than likely, based off the forecasts, as we have talked,
it doesn't take long for things to start shooting up when it gets warm.
I think we're going to get a big cold shot in February.
Yeah.
So I think if you could just prevent whatever sprouts up now, you'll be fine. I would say put it down once that next Arctic blast starts to lift out of here. If you're in early February and you don't see any signs of colder weather, maybe consider mid-February. But I have a feeling that we're going to drop below freezing again.
Oh, for sure.
A lot of things are going to get killed, and I would say probably late February this year, just based off what I've been looking at. Late February is usually the ideal latest time to put that stuff down. So, same thing with like planting too early.
Yeah.
So-
You're much more of a lawn guy.
Yeah, soil temperature also is harder to have fluctuations.
Yeah.
It's very, and that's what all that is.
Yeah,
But you're the gardening guy.
You're a lawn guy. Your yard is immaculate.
I can't wait.
Immaculate.
I can smell it now.
As long as all of my green weeds look fine when they're cut fresh with the mower, I'm okay.
And that's my backyard.
Right. That's
Yeah.
my front yard. I don't have any grass in my backyard because I'm more of a plant guy. Give me all the plants, give me the shrubs, give me the flowers, give me the bushes. I can handle that. Grass, lawns, I don't care.
My front yard looks great. My backyard looks subpar.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
no one sees that, so
Right.
that's not where the curb
Yeah.
appeal is.
So look at that. You never know what you're going to get.
Pollen episode for sure.
Pollen.
Garden and lawn with Jamie
Maybe
and
we could
Andrew.
get a pollen guest who can help us out.
Do you know any? Because I have questions, if so.
Yeah, no, we'll find one,
Okay,
a doctor
cool.
or somebody.
Yeah.
I don't know. So pollen, we're going to tackle a lot of stuff that was in here. I wasn't being rude, y'all.
No. When I was typing them out,
But there's like some entire episodes in there again. So we're going to get to them.
I think we need to dig through that and think where
Yeah.
could we do it. Also, the severe weather episode.
Yeah.
I also want to bring on our chief photog, who's been here from the start.
Yeah. Yeah, he would.
He may take the mic
George,
and go.
just go. I mean, which would be fine. He's one of the most wonderful, entertaining people I've ever met in my entire life.
I think he's going to be the first interview for the season.
Yeah. That would be amazing.
He's done all the storms.
All of them.
And even before here, he's done stuff. So just, hey,
And
what's the worst?
Of everybody who has been here at this TV station since our launch in 2008, me, him, and one other person are the only ones left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that would be a really fun
That would be
episode.
fun.
It'd be a long episode. I'm telling you right now with him.
Just the man can talk.
Yeah, he can. Better than we can, I think. He would just keep going and going and going.
He would turn the tables and host us. It would be.
Actually, he probably will.
It would be his show.
So I think that's coming up later this season. If you all have any ideas, let us know. We are open to anything. If you have any questions, fill it. We have a lot to go through for season 3. So no rush to end it anytime soon.
This was fun, though.
It was fun. And I think it was a good end-all, be-all. So Anya says, all right, zip it.
All right, zip it. So we're done.
We're done.
We're
like,
done.
comment, share, subscribe.
Thanks, y'all. And we will see you next week for episode 37, God willing.
Yeah. Y'all have a good
Don't
one.
rise.